Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tyria then. I think we're on episode 30 now.
We are on episode 30, yes.
Yeah, I think we have graduated past the 20s into the 30s. We're grown-ups now. The show is a
We
grown-up
are
show for
we are
adults.
grown-ups. We are well over we are 10 over 10 10 11 over our previous podcast.
We
Tyria now.
are. Did we not make it to 20 on Tyria now? Or did it end
No,
at
we made it to
19?
19. The lack of voice acting did us in. It was
COVID
during
killed so
COVID.
many things. Tyria now one of them. Add that to the
Yes.
list.
Yes.
And then rebirth in the post-COVID boom
Yes.
of the Guild
So,
Wars 1 show, which honestly
yes.
might be superior.
Mhm.
Um, this is we're only, let's see, we started Nightfall on 27, I think. 27.
Yes.
So this is our fourth Nightfall episode, and it is already our second side quest only episode.
Yes. Because so many quests opened up.
Yeah, so I think neither of us really had a good idea. Like, I think we knew that some quests were level gated in Nightfall. I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea that after each mission you had to like go check every outpost for quests.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, this kind of the sheer amount of content that we needed to complete kind of hit us like a train.
Yes.
So this episode's actually coming out a little late because I was not prepared for the sheer amount of questing that we were about to dive into.
Yeah, by the way, I am Miko and he is Aaron.
I never introduce who we are.
No, we launched into just talking, so that hasn't happened, so it's fine.
We did it. I think I introduced who we were in episode 1, and then I didn't do it again until like episode 27.
No, that's not true.
I'm just assuming if you're watching episode 30, you watched episode 1.
That's right. Yes. And you've learned our dulcet tone by now.
Yeah, I think our voices are distinct. I think.
Just a little.
I would assume that since all my characters are named Aaron, you would kind of get there, but I do believe that it is standard podcast etiquette to fucking introduce yourself at the top of the show. So what are you gonna do? I'll try in the future. We did how many quests did you like lay your hands on, whether you finished them or not? But like, how many quests did you touch?
I think I did like 20, 21. Well, I just did a count a little while ago and I've already forgotten the number. But yeah, it was like 20 or 21 or 19 or 20. It was around that 20 mark.
In the 20 ballpark. Yeah, for me as well, in the ballpark of 20 quests. There's one that I didn't finish and one that you did that I didn't take because I was exhausted. And then I think I did a couple that you didn't do because there is a follow-up to the mime.
You get to... Okay, you're going to tell me about it because I ran into the mime quest giver, but I didn't take it because I was like, well, Aaron's done the mime quest. I don't need to do the mime quest also. We've already told our listeners and viewers what that's all about.
The mime meme only works once.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So I did the mime follow-up. It's actually quite interesting. So we'll talk about that. I think we both dealt with a cult.
Yes, I dealt with the cult.
And we both did some research into the Scarab Plague.
Yes, I did that as well.
And we met an old friend from Cantha.
Yes, who I think he might be more of your old friend than mine.
Yeah, well, because we both did the Captured Sun, right? Or was that just me?
I think you did it.
Okay, so yeah, I did all the Jotaro stuff from factions. I think I did all of it.
I did the Nightfall version of a Captured Sun, the pirate corsair guy.
Yes.
Didn't have as interesting a story as Jotaro.
A much easier quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jotaro is back this episode, so we're going to be talking to him. And then I think we also did some recruiting work for Castellan Puba.
Castellan Puba, yes.
Because when we say that like quests open up in every outpost, we're not joking. So upon the completion of Jokinder Diggings, I don't know if it's like hitting level 10 or joke near diggings or like a combination of the two. Maybe it has to do with Sunspear rank. I'm now rank 5.
Are you a captain?
Yeah, I'm a captain.
Me too.
And I'm finding it hard to rank up because it won't let me get points in the low level zones anymore.
No. I like that the bounty givers will tell you like, what are you doing here? Aren't you a little bit, you're too big for this world. Get out of here.
And then
Go
I
do
look
hard things.
and then I look at him and I'm like, I don't know, dude. I gotta get a harpy egg so we can make Harpy Quiche. What do you want me to fucking tell you?
Yeah.
We went some strange places this episode. It's not a joke. There was Harpy Quiche. But yeah, so we had to go all the way back to, well, we didn't have to, but we decided to go all the way back to the Sunspear Sanctuary and talk to Castellan Pooba, who now has an exclamation mark over his head. Miko, do you know what, without Googling, do you know what a Castellan is?
No.
So I Googled it. I didn't know what it was either. I was like, I've known of this.
I figure it's a rank.
Yeah, I've known of this guy for my entire like Guild Wars playing career, and I've never once questioned why he's called Castellan. A Castellan is a governor of a castle.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, the word castle, if spelled archaically, is in there.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess he is the like leader of the Sunspear Sanctuary.
So all these years, like I was like, I'm sure that's a something, and I speak a version of Spanish that's called Castellano, which is named after the Castilians, which were, castle dwellers.
That is probably where that is from, almost 100%.
Yeah.
So that is a little bit of a fun fact. And then, is Castellan a obtainable rank in the Sunspear title track?
That is a very good question.
So you get what? General is rank 7, and then there's something at rank 8, and then there's something at rank 9, and then I think Spear Marshal is rank 9 is Spear Marshal, rank 10 is Legendary Spear Marshal, I think.
Castellan is not an obtainable rank, and I feel gypped.
What is rank 8?
Oh wait, you're right. Sincere Castellan. No, okay, I take that back, ArenaNet. I'm sorry.
Okay, so rank 8 is Castellan?
Yes,
it is rank 8 Sunspear Castellan. That's amazing.
So, yeah, there you go. Okay, I feel a little vindicated, and I feel I will apologize to ArenaNet. Sorry.
So Pooba, rank 8 Sunspear title track. The man's been out here farming, like in the Janundu wastes.
Yes.
He's been LFGing in Joko's palace.
Yes. But we're catching up to him.
Yes. We had to chit-chat with him because he needs us to recruit extra Sunspears.
Yes.
Did you do this for Pooba?
Rising Suns.
Yes, Rising Suns.
Yes. I did do this for Pooba because I was excited when I saw the exclamation point. I was like, yes, we're finally going to be able to do stuff for this guy. And then he went and told us to go and meet 3 recruits and bring them along.
It's probably basic human psychology, but I've never once thought about why a quest marker might be an exclamation mark, but you just said it. You were excited when you saw the exclamation mark.
I was like, content! Here we go!
Yeah, these are the deep psychological questions we ponder on this show.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he needs us to go out to Zelen Reach. I don't think so. Zelen Reach is a very cool area. It's got like
it really is.
It's got like a little bit of everything. It's got like 6 villages. It's got a bunch of docks, a bunch of boats, a bunch of quests. I never want to go back to Zelen Reach.
Are you sick of it now after this playthrough?
It is the Wajan Bazaar of Istan.
I mean, I suppose that's fair. The quests do tend to send us out there a lot.
And they send you out there in ways that mean you have to constantly go there once, zone out, and then go back later.
Yeah.
It's very Wajan Bazaar. It's a well-designed area with a lot of quests and a lot of things to do that you are going to be traipsing the same path through over and over again.
Did you find yourself not checking the wiki like I did, not check the wiki, and just zone into. I would port over to one of the outposts and be like, all right, I'm gonna go out there, and I'd check the map, and I'm like, damn it, I came out the wrong outpost.
So there, the Astralarium has a portal to Zelen Reach. What other outpost does?
Dr. Diggings.
Fuck, you're right.
Yes, because when I realized that so many of these were out in the little village area, I was like, fuck you, I'm not going back to Australia. Juckner Diggings every time.
Oh dear. Yeah, I pretty much leave from the Astralarium every single time. And the most of the quests in this area have you run all the way to the ass end of the map.
Oh yeah, I know it.
Because that's where all the villages are. And we got to go find our boy Morik at one of these aforementioned villages. He's actually like out on the dock. He's a fisherman.
Yeah, Morik and his girl Danny.
Yes, Danny with an extra H, of course, because we're in Nightfall.
Of course, that's right.
One thing I've noticed, because I'm typing a lot of notes while we play Nightfall, and I'm always confusing myself as to where the H goes. H almost always comes after in Nightfall stuff. It's never like. It's never early. It's always a late H. Helpful if you're typing Nightfall stuff, which I'm sure we're the only two people on the planet Earth that are typing Nightfall stuff.
You know what I meant to mention last time? You know General Morgan, whose name also has an H.
Has a late H, yeah.
Has a late H. Every time I was like, dude looks like Morgan Freeman. And this time I was like, son of a bitch, they made him look like Morgan Freeman on purpose.
More than likely.
Like he's an homage to Morgan Freeman, which I think is pretty cool.
More than likely, I think you would probably be correct. Yeah. He's kind of a reserved, stoic character with like grounded sensibilities, much like a Morgan Freeman character.
Yes, and in my mind, he now has Morgan Freeman's voice, and I wish he was voice acted.
Just watch all the cutscenes on silent and let your mind do the work.
That's right.
It's like reading a book. It's watching cutscenes on hard mode. Yes. We do have to talk to Morik and Danny, though, because they are on the list. Puba is like, hey, I got this list of like 3 people. Can you go recruit them? And so we go talk to Morik first. And he won't leave without Danny. And he's like, Danny's better than me at everything. I don't even know why I exist.
Pretty much.
He's
pretty much. Like, he has confidence crisis.
He does.
And Danny just thinks that he's just awesome and lacks confidence. And she's like, tell him I'm going to leave without him. And if he wants me, he needs to come with.
Well, she does call him a lummox, which is a great insult.
Yes, because that was also used in Prophecies, wasn't it?
It was
another one of these romancing quests.
It was used with that quest outside of Lion's Arch, where the girl was talking to the one degenerate gambler, Lion Guard. Yes, 100%. Yes. So somebody on the ArenaNet team has a fondness for the term lummox.
It's a great word.
It is, and it should be pointed out every time it's used.
That's right.
Absolutely. And yeah, she basically says, listen, I'll just join and he'll follow me. Watch this.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so we go over and by watch this, she means go tell him I'm joining the Sunspheres. So we have to wonder. Yeah. They're like 2 feet away from each other. This is not a problem.
You would think that he would be able to hear her, but
yeah.
Video game logic.
So, and she actually says, she's like, hey, he would be a great fighter if he had confidence, right?
Yeah.
So they both think that the other is like holding back when they train together. They're probably like both very good. So that kind of clears that one up. They both traipse off to join the Sunspears. There's kind of an not allegorical, but a theme here of like getting out of your small town, right? They're both like, yeah, we need to get out of this dump. And I think the next guy, Ando, that we talked to, he's also like, yeah, I need to get out of this dump.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we have to go find Ando.
Not to be confused with Brando.
Not to be confused with Mando from the Mandalorian. Or Andor, which is also a Star Wars character. This is Ando. This is the Andalorian.
This is Ando. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says he can't leave to join the Sunspears, even though he would like to, because he has to protect his village from
Right.
from a group of 5 iron-toothed drakes that's like 10 feet away.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. These beasts have really sharp teeth.
they're
Big
iron-toothed
pointy
drakes.
teeth.
Yeah.
Yes. Big pointy teeth. I stand corrected. Big pointy teeth.
Yeah, it's written kind of jankily because he's like, well, I have to protect my village from monsters, and they attack all the time, and they're right over there. And so I go down there and I kill one group of drakes, and there's still shitloads of monsters everywhere.
Yeah.
But the quest updates, so I go back and I'm like, the monsters are gone, homie.
Yeah.
I don't see how killing one group of drakes is going to solve like the
village's
village
problems.
Yeah, the village, like they should probably have somebody there defending them, right? I don't think one
They
group
do. They
of
have
drakes.
Ando.
Oh, not anymore. I sent him off to join the Sun Spears.
Yes, but he thinks that now without the group of 5 that they'll be okay.
I think he's wrong.
I think he's wrong also, but that's Ando's logic.
That is Ando's logic, and Ando logic is now going to become a term on this show that we used for.
If we remember.
That we use for when you kill one group of enemies and it really doesn't solve anything, but the writing says it does. We're probably not going to remember to use Ando logic.
No.
We're going to try to remember you, Ando.
We'll forward out for you next time.
And that kind of solves that quest.
Yep. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be 3, but Morik and Danny both count as their own person, so it's just them and Ando.
Do. Yeah, but Pooh was impressed that we got all 3 to sign up.
Yeah, he's like, I was expecting like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Big.
And then he thinks he's impressed with us because we got all 3.
Big celestial ministry vibes from Castellan Pooba.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know, dude. I'm just pushing paperwork. I didn't even think you'd come back.
Right.
And he has a follow-up quest. We'll try to tackle these chains like as a whole, because we did quite a few quest chains, so we'll kind of group them. So let me scroll 4 pages down to when I did the next quest in this chain, which is just called Re-enlist Rogus.
Yes. And Rogus is out living. He used to be a Sun Spear, and he apparently used to blow things up, so he's an elementalist. But now he's living his life as a farmer.
And is he a good farmer?
No, he's a bad farmer.
Yeah, he's terrible. And he has beef with Cormyr.
He does. Yeah, that's why he left the Sun Spear. Something about he tried to save her. She didn't give him credit, and so he's like, I'm out.
I think what he said is she put his patrol in a bad situation, and he had to save everyone. And I don't think...
Including her, right?
Including her, yeah. So I don't think...
Yeah.
He thinks she's not a very good CO, commanding officer.
Right.
And his dialogue is bizarre. Because he's sitting there like... Yeah, I used to... He doesn't outright say, yeah, I used to be a Sun Spear. But you know how when you click on someone, they have their opening dialogue, and then you can click the quest dialogue. His opening dialogue is like, yeah, I used to run shit, right? And then you click into the quest dialogue, and he's like, I've literally never heard of the Sun Spears before.
Yeah, he's like, son, what? No.
I'm like, my man...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, my man, you live in Istan. And you're like 48 years old. There's no way you haven't heard of the Sun Spears.
No, I know.
So he immediately tries to sell you on the most horseshit story possible.
Pretty much, yeah. And Rogus is like, he's trying to get away as far away from, I guess, Cormyr as possible. And I guess Cormyr hangs out in like the Kamadan area. He's out in like Isner Isles.
Which is a new area I don't think we've been to on the show yet.
No, we get Party of 8 down here, which when I went to try to run this quest, I ran through Beckner Harbor and was so excited that I was down there, I forgot to check the party thing, and I just ran for the portal exit to keep going. And then I was like, why am I dying with my party of 4? And then I'm like, I bet you this is an 8 party.
I was going to say, did you die?
I did. I died, and I had to port back, and I was like, son of a bitch, I need 4 more people. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there's much higher level mobs in Isner Isles. There is a much higher mob density. And so, yeah, it's you go from cliffs of Dojok into an outpost called Beckner Harbor, which doesn't really have anything in it. And then you can put 8 people in and go into Isner Isles, which isn't so much islands as like wet farming area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like that shallow water that you create it's like irrigated farming area.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like kind of a long, it's like a
Business.
long, narrow passage of a zone, sort of.
Yes.
You're kind of just traipsing through people's crops.
It is. Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah. And he has a fun word he uses for sun spears. He calls them moon stabbers.
Yeah, that was really quite funny.
Yeah, I like moon stabbers. Moon stabber, good character name for like an MMO.
Did you write that down in your list?
I might become moon stabber whenever they release Guild Wars 3.
There you go.
If that's ever gonna happen. No
comment. You heard it. You heard it here first, folks.
Add moon stabber to your friends list when you log into Guild Wars 3 in 10 years.
Yeah.
So what he needs us to do is he doesn't even say like, if you go do this, I'll think about rejoining, because he won't even admit that he used to be a sun spear.
Yeah, no.
But he does tell us to go get rid of enemies around his crops. I don't know why I'm doing this for him, other than I think he might talk to me if I do it.
Yeah, and he's funny because he calls them reed sharks. He's like, my fields are infested by some kind of reed shark that's destroying my crops.
I've never seen a man feign such a mind-boggling degree of ignorance.
I'm ignorant of this. I don't know what's even infesting my garden.
Yeah, it's like if you had rats and you were like, there's some sort of furry demon that's running around my house. I don't know. Yeah. It's got a tail and fur. I don't know what it is.
No.
And you're like, dude, that's a rat.
Yeah.
It's like when he's saying he doesn't know, he's never heard of the sun spears. It's like if you're like, I've never heard of the police. I don't know what that is.
So he has us kill mandragores.
Yeah, we got to go kill again. There's like an infestation of all sorts of enemies on this man's crops, but you only have to kill one group of mandragores. Yeah. This is what we call Ando logic on this show. We didn't think an opportunity to use this would come up so soon.
So is it? And yet it did.
And yet it did. Yeah. We might remember it now.
We might.
But yeah, we do that for him. And then he caves very quickly too.
No.
As soon as we do this, he's like, "Okay, I'll totally rejoin."
Yeah, I was testing you. I wanted to make sure that you knew what you were doing.
Yes, he basically wanted to make sure that we weren't complete shitters. And then he's
like Cormier, apparently.
Like Cormier, yeah. And he says that if all the new recruits are as skilled as we are, he's happy to rejoin.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, I, as a responsible Sunspear, should be like, whoa, now. I'm level 15. The new recruits definitely are not as skilled as me. But I don't say anything. I let him rejoin. And he also, part of his caveat for rejoining is refusing to ever patrol with Cormier ever again.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, she's the spear marshal now, so I don't think you will be.
Yeah.
You'll probably
unless you outrank her, but you know.
Yeah, you'll probably be hitting the road with Ando, if anything. They think alike, so I'm sure they'll get paired up. And that concludes his quest. We can teleport.
I like what Pooba says. He sounds like he said Roger sent word that he would be arriving shortly. Sounds like his experiment with iron reed farming didn't go too well.
Yeah, he's and a lot of his dialogue, when you're taught a lot of Rogis's dialogue, he keeps going on about like, and I'm definitely a good reed farmer, and I definitely know what I'm doing.
And I definitely have never been good at blowing things up.
Yeah, he essentially talks in opposite day speak, like a 7-year-old who's like, it's opposite day, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny quest. I like it.
I did too.
And I think that's the only 2 quests Pooba has.
At this present moment, yes.
Did you do another Pooba quest? I don't think I did.
No.
I'm sure he will.
Later. Yeah, he will later.
Did you do a wiki deep dive on Pooba?
I think I pulled him up and I was like, look at all those primary quests, exclamation marks that are coming up with Pooba.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we'll be seeing him.
We will be having a chat with him.
The grand Pooba that he will turn out to be.
Is that what we should start calling him, the Grand Pooba?
Yeah.
All right. Pooba the Grand.
Poop at the ground.
When you were re-enlisting Rogus, did you
Mhm.
see a eulogy taking place in a village right next to him?
I did.
I did too.
I did, yes.
This
And
is a
I
really
ran.
good question.
It really is. Yes, there was a funeral going on, and it was being led by a man called Healer Zenwa. And did you interact with the coffin that was out there too?
I clicked on it later. I didn't click on it during the eulogy.
Yeah, I clicked on it later. Did anything happen?
No, it just said, I don't
No.
think it said anything.
It said wooden coffin. That was it. That
Yeah.
was its label, and it didn't do anything. I really wanted like a ghost to pop out or something to happen.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying now. They make it
Yeah,
interactable, and then you click on it
yeah.
and nothing happens. Absolutely.
Nothing
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
we both, of course, clicked on it.
that's right. Yes.
Yeah, he's giving a eulogy, and this is the longest fucking eulogy in the history of video
I
games.
know, it really is.
Because you and I see this happening, and we see like several NPCs with like that aren't named villager around, right? So we know that like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is a thing. And we probably know an exclamation point is going to pop up over someone's head after this funeral concludes.
Yep.
So I'm standing there for a while waiting for this
Yeah.
guy, and he is just saying the same thing over and over
Over and
again.
over again. Like, yeah.
He's like, this guy was the best guy that ever died.
Yes.
Just in as many different ways as he can, which I guess is
Mm-hmm.
what you do in a eulogy, right? So that's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Um, but it tested my patience.
I mean, that's Healer Zenwa for you.
Yeah, that is Healer Zenwa. And once that concludes, he basically has an exclamation mark, and we can go talk to him. And he's like, "Hey, you're a Sun Spear, right? Being a Sun Spear contextualizes your like player game need to do quests very well.
Mm-hmm.
Because in other RPGs, when you're like just an adventurer, doing like random side work for people makes no sense. When you're a Sun Spear, all of this makes sense. It's your job.
Yeah.
It's your
Yes.
job for people to tug on your sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interest, because every time somebody wants me to do something that I'm like, why would I do this? I'm like, oh yeah,
You're a Sun Spear.
I'm a fucking Sun Spear. Of course I'm gonna do
That's
this.
right. That's right.
I'm just out here being a helpful bitch. So
That's right. You're making your own legend.
yes. So what did he ask us to do?
So he wants us to choose the heir to the inheritance.
There's three of these kids.
Yeah. He wants you to pick the heir of out of three kids of this guy's name was Nebawa Wame.
Yeah, I had to check what this guy's name was every time I typed it out.
Yeah. So Nebawa Wame was like this really good guy, very generous. I think I can't remember if he was a Sun Spear or if he just had deep admiration for them.
He had deep admiration for them, I think. I don't think he was one.
Yeah. And so he gave of himself, this is everything that he tells us well, if you pay attention to his dialogue during the eulogy, but Nebawa was just this guy who he served his people and wanted to help them in any way he could. So he wants you to choose from his 3 children who will receive his inheritance.
Yeah.
Which is apparently a lot of money.
Yeah, apparently he was like a rich guy that was also a great guy. The fictional character, the great rich guy. And he's got 3 kids. He's got a firstborn son, Mutu, a secondborn daughter, Misela, and a thirdborn son, Jedder.
Yes.
And each of them has their own quest where you have to go and do something with them to get to know them better, because Zenwa requests that we get to know each of them before we come to a decision. And you have to do them in order. So you do the firstborn first, then the secondborn, then the thirdborn.
Yep.
What did you do with Mutu, the firstborn son?
Mutu is living his life as essentially a hired warrior. He's a mercenary, and he really, really wants to become a Sun Spear one day to honor his father's, wishes.
To honor his father's admiration for the Sun Spear.
And to make him proud. So he has a quest to go out and take back the savings of a local farmer, and of course, who's got the savings of the local farmer? They've been stolen by
the Corsairs.
Yes. So you've got to go and take out the Corsairs to get the farmer's savings back.
And Mutu will actually come with you. He joins you as an
Yes.
ally. He's level 15. He's not half bad.
Yeah, of
He is
course,
a warrior with a hammer.
He is a warrior with a hammer, and if you let him die, the quest will fail, and you'll have to restart it.
Did you let him die?
I did.
Oh dear.
We got a little bit overwhelmed because I was just like, yeah, let's take out the Corsairs, and I ran in, and yeah, we got surrounded, and then I think a pack of scale or something, some like monsters came up from behind, and I was like, I've aggroed the world, and yeah.
Yeah, there was a kind of a lot of enemies swarming over where the Corsairs are.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't die for me. I was kind of playing the same way you were. Once it started to dawn on me how much content I had to chew through for this, I started playing on like hyper speed.
Yes, exactly. I was like, more quests, I gotta get through this all.
Yeah, there's some B-roll, because like I did those quests that Miko did that I didn't last episode. I did those this episode.
Right.
And there's like footage of me just like speed running my way through Cliffs of Dojok doing like 4 quests. Yeah, I was just like, I'm like hammering the sprint because I have the warrior skill sprint on my bar, even though I don't have any strength points, because it's like it's an 8-second haste, like it's great.
It's good.
And I'm just hammering that on cooldown pretty much the whole episode, just trying to get everything completed. He didn't die for me, but I was able to get the Corsairs down. And the fisherman, you take it back to the fisherman, and it's a bundle item. You have to carry it back.
Yep.
And he says thank you, and that's that.
That's
for,
pretty much it. Yeah.
Yep, for Mutus. Each of these are pretty concise. You go do like one thing for the person. How did things go with second-born daughter Marcella?
Much better. We don't have to ensure her survival. She just accompanies us. She's looking to kill some scale because she needs some Mosu reeds in order to make a medicine for the villagers.
It's interesting that you said she accompanies you. Did you see her accompany you?
Yes. I was constantly checking to make sure she was following me.
I don't think she accompanied me at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, no, yeah. She came with. And
I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't notice because she does not join your party in the ally window.
No, she does not. She just follows you.
Oh, maybe she followed me and I just didn't notice.
Yeah. So she follows, and
does she help
wants
fight?
You to get some. No.
Gotcha. Okay, so she's yeah. Okay, so my thinking she didn't come with actually affected my decision making in the future. So I'm glad she didn't help fight because that makes me feel a little vindicated. So we had to go help her pick her ingredients for a cure for swamp fever.
Yes, and you just kill a couple of scale, or not a couple, a few. There's like 3 little patrols.
A very important distinction between a couple and a few.
That's right. Yes, and so once you actually have to kill, at least I did. I was like, okay, well, that other group over there, they're kind of far away. They can't possibly be related to the quest. Maybe they're just a patrol. And she wouldn't, like, the quest would not update. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go kill that last group over there. So. Yes.
I think I aggroed everything in one go. I think Koss took care of that for me. So I didn't have that.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once you kill all of the, like, there's like 3 groups of 3, I want to say, the quest will update. She'll get close to the Mosu reeds and pick them, and she'll say thank you, and she'll stay there, basically.
I believe
I follows you back.
I believe I had to pick the reed for her. I think I had to click on it.
I clicked on them, and nothing happened. And so I just waited for her to mosey on over to the Mosu reeds. And then the quest updated.
I'm going to have to review the footage. I want to see if she followed me or not. Interesting. Because, yeah, I think I had to click on them and then the quest updated. I'm not sure, though. I was playing everything on hyper octane speed, so
right.
I could have just, like, thought over it. But, yeah, that's all you have to do for her. And then you get the third quest, Thirdborn. And Zenwa describes the third son, Jedder, as kind of the black sheep of the family.
Yes.
And I would say black sheep is an understatement.
Pretty much. This guy is like just all he cares about is money.
Jetter is like a selfish, detestable degenerate.
Pretty much.
He's just like a one-dimensionally evil character.
Yeah. He's like, why do I have to wait for you to decide who gets my old man's money? Just give it to me because my siblings are just gonna fritter it away.
Yeah, his dialogue, he immediately opens with like, so you're the asshole that's gonna decide who our inheritance goes to, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he makes it it's just so cartoonish how abundantly clear they make it that he's not cool.
No.
And so he basically says like, "Hey, I saw this pirate treasure on the beach at one point, like like Treasure Island type shit." And I'm too scared to go get it, obviously, because it could be, I think guarded by corsairs, I'd assume, right? Pirate treasure.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, why don't you go get it? And then I won't have to care who you choose because I'll have pirate treasure. But wait, I'm selfish. I forgot. If you do choose me, I'll give you a cut of the treasure."
Yeah.
Which is like a catch-22 because giving us a cut of the treasure is inherently not selfish.
Right.
And it kind of foreshadows what happens later. Because we get to the treasure chest with him, and he's like, "Actually, I would like all of the treasure. I shan't be giving you any."
Right. And then the corsairs pop up, and he's like, no, protect me. I'll guard the treasure.
Yeah. So I think we're to assume that he is not in league with the corsairs.
Correct.
Since he says, "Ooh, protect me." But because, like, the writing made it unclear for me because he's like, "Actually, I'll be taking it all." And then enemies pop up. So I was like, he's working with the corsairs. But then he's like, "Protect me from the corsairs." So there's a few things that could be going on. Him and the corsairs could be unrelated. Well, there's two things that could be going on, I guess.
Or he's betrayed them.
Or he intended to betray us, but then when we squared off with the corsairs, he's like, maybe I'll just go with whoever wins. Right?
Right.
Either way, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
So once we do that for him, he kind of just wanders off.
Yeah, he kind of stands off. Whereas, like, Mutu and Misela, they stay in closer to Healer Zenwa and the rest of the villagers. Jetter's off, like, to the side.
Yeah, I was gunning it, so I don't think I actually tried talking to him after killing the corsairs. Did you?
Yeah, he has nothing interesting to say. He just gives you his standard dialogue from interacting with him it's the same as what he'd said before.
Gotcha. So
all three of them will give you the dialogue that like post-funeral dialogue.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so then we come back to Zenwa and we're like, okay, I did that horse shit. Right? I guess we let him keep the treasure even though we should have like left him in the mud and taken it. Now Zenwa wants us to make a choice as to which child gets the inheritance, and in the dialogue makes it clear it's like, hey, once you make this choice, you're gonna get teleported to a mini mission, which is like really high effort quest design for this like random quest that probably most people aren't gonna find or do. And these are all master difficulty quests.
Yes, they are.
And Zenwa says that the inheritance is actually hidden in the city of Faranar, where we explored the Jokiner diggings. And once we decide on who we're going to go there with to search for it, we'll be teleported there. Who did you pick?
So I found it funny or interesting that the order of the children lists Misela first, Mutu second, and then Jetter at the bottom. The middle child, the oldest child, and the youngest child. So it's kind of like the game is like, pick the middle one.
It's listed in order of their D&D character alignment. You have the good character on the top, and the neutral character in the middle, and the evil character on the bottom.
Yeah. So I was like, well, if the game is telling me to pick the good child, I'm going to pick the good child. I have a feeling that Aaron will pick the bad child.
So did you pick Misela?
I picked Misela.
Okay, good. I'm glad that we made different choices. While I find the idea of picking Jetter absolutely fascinating, I decided to roleplay my character. Right, my character is a meathead. Right, I like hitting things with a scythe, as all my characters have been meatheads.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression that Marcella did not come with me to go pick the herb. So I thought I just
Uh-huh.
had to, like, I thought she just sent me to go pick the herb, and that disgruntled me because Mutu had set the standard of coming with and helping, right?
Mhm.
In my
Mhm.
eyes, Marcella had not done this.
Right.
And even with Marcella accompanying you, she doesn't help fight. Mutu
Well,
does
she
help fight. Did you say she does or doesn't help fight?
well in if you take her quest, like if you choose her to receive the inheritance, she is a monk.
Oh, maybe she heals you. Maybe I snubbed Marcella.
I
uh,
don't know if she like in the second born quest. I don't think she did anything. I don't think she just kind of stood there.
oh right, but
But
when they send you to the mini mission, she probably has monk skills.
yeah, I think she does. I think so, but
That makes
I
sense.
could be wrong. Yeah.
I did choose Mutu
Okay.
because he's a hammer hitty guy, and my character is also a two-hander hitty guy, and I thought that was very cool. And he
Yeah.
helped me with the thing that he wanted me to do, and my character was like, that was a stand-up way to handle that, and nobody else treated me that way. So I handed it out to Mutu and went to Foreigner with
Nice.
him.
Excellent.
And this Foreigner mission is it. I wouldn't say it's hard.
You kind of have to be a little careful, I think.
The mob density is massive. These are groups of like 12 that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
They're level 10
Now,
skeletons.
yes, the level 10 skeletons, but there's just a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's that one area of it wasn't maybe it was scale. It was like a little pig pen worth of lizard things. Was it scale? No, it was something.
Yeah.
What was it?
It's scale, I
But
think.
they're all like level 2, and I was
They're all
like,
like level 2. I don't think those are in the mini mission because the mini mission is like its own instance. We did have to go to Foreigner for the Scarab Plague quest, and that's when I
oh,
encountered the
right.
scale
That's
pen.
where I encountered them. I'm getting my quests confused. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is like an instance version of Foreigner that
Yeah,
is
and we go in like a
different.
back door, a back way. Yeah.
Yeah, we start at like
Yeah.
the
Okay.
back of the area and we have to find our way
Mhm.
in.
Yes.
And there's just we got to fight our way through just hordes of level 10 skeletons.
Yeah.
I had a really fun time doing this because I have a scythe and I can hit everything at once. And it felt really awesome to see like 100 numbers pop up every time I swung my weapon. How did it go for you?
Yeah. It went pretty well. I just tried to be careful not to over aggro the skeletons. And because I went double monk, I think, because I think I went in with a party of 8, right? So because we went out of
Out of Beckner Harbor, yeah, so it would have been 8.
yeah. So I took the second monk just to help.
I took the second monk as well. I think so. We've got Koss, Dunkoro, and Milani as our heroes, and then I took the Mesmer, Harta the Elementalist, Kim the Healer, and Sogalon the Paragon, which you probably didn't take.
I didn't take. I took the ranger instead.
Yeah, that was the choice, and I was like, Paragons they like sing. It's nice, so I took one. But you are Paragon, so you don't need to do that. Yeah, this isn't too hard. Like you said, you don't want to take 2 of these groups at once because there's like 20 per group.
Yeah.
And yeah, Mutu wasn't near dying at any point. I think he took some damage, but he was fine. You got to make sure he doesn't get crushed by one of the weights.
Yes. I tried to flag my people so that they would keep running, and I wanted to make sure that Marcella didn't get crushed by one of the weights, because it seemed like it was a near close thing because she was a monk and hanging back, and I was like, please come walking with me.
Yes, and when you finally find the treasure, Mutu had some dialogue. Did Marcella say what she was going to do with the money?
Yeah, she said she was going to continue her father's legacy.
And like be altruistic and a philanthropist. Yeah, I was. So I had chosen Mutu for very roleplay reasons, and I'm not gonna lie, my character would love what he's going to do with the money, but me as like a human being, I was like very disappointed. He says he's going to use the money to buy gear to be a sun spear. I was like, dude, are you buying solid gold armor? This is supposed to be like a man's fortune, like his life's accumulation.
Yeah.
Surely you can gear out and and like give to your village. But yeah, he's gonna put it all towards training and gear, apparently.
Well, there you go.
I mean, he's becoming a Sun Spear, so it's not like the worst application of the funds.
He probably needs a new hammer.
Yeah,
and some better armor.
Yeah, but Macella is the obvious right choice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I took the kind of like second best choice. And then I would love to know what the Jeddah version of this looks like.
So I pulled it up on the wiki because I was curious. And once you claim the treasure, he's like, "I'll be rich beyond my wildest dreams. Let's get going." And then he thinks he's going to be famous and powerful. He'll be everything that he ever wanted to be.
Does he get crushed by a bell?
No. He says, "Oh yes, and I'll make sure to reward you for helping me. ... Someday."
The best ending to this quest is he runs off and gets crushed by one of those weights immediately. ArenaNet, missed opportunity.
I know. And then when you turn in the quest to Zenwa, he's like, "Your choice of Jeddah disturbs me. I don't trust that young man in the least."
Disturbs me.
I hope you saw something in him that I could not. Your services are no longer needed, Sunspear. Thank you for your wisdom.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. I wish.
Because at first I was like, why did they even offer Jeddah as an option if they were going to make him just cartoonishly horrific? But it's for the comedy, I think. I think it's for if you want to make a goofy choice. Or maybe you're playing like an evil necromancer, right? And you're a role player.
Right, maybe.
So it's good to have those choices in the game. Yeah, that was a good quest chain that was very interesting. And the little mini mission was like really cool because I like quests that go like above and beyond the standard quest design. And that really went above and beyond for me. Like that one boss in the Crystal Desert that was just a quest boss, but it had like raid mechanics. Like it was kind of like that. And then the mission was like challenging but not too hard. It was like that right mix that made the combat feel fun. So yeah, really good quest chain. Enjoyed it.
Yep. Yeah, I liked it too. And it's just, you could just run on past it. You never pick up that Zenwa has got anything to do or say for you.
Oh, you could totally miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a quest that's going to be found by people who are exploring for the vibe and the roleplay. If you're just like all business doing quests, you're probably going to miss this.
Yeah.
Because you have to wait around for the exclamation mark to even appear.
Yep.
So if you're not paying attention, you might not even notice anything's going on. You might not notice that there's uniquely named NPCs. Like, yeah, this is a quest that you need to be out there looking to roleplay to kind of even pick up. We did so many quest chains, Miko.
I know.
When I was planning this episode, I was thinking like, oh well, we got to do the Scarab Plague quest chain, right? Because that's like that's cool, And then in the
that was like the only one that we'd actually planned. We're like, right, we're gonna go in there to Astrolarium and talk to the scholar.
Yeah, I was like, because I was looking at the wiki and I was like, oh, well, there's this quest chain at the Astrolarium about the Scarab Plague, and it's 5 quests long. That should do us for an episode. And we're like, cool. But then there's another person you can talk to there who gets you involved with a cult.
Yes.
And I kind of want to talk about the cult first.
Okay.
There's a lady named Kihawa in
yes.
the Astrolarium. And she says that her husband has joined a cult.
Yep.
And as cults are wont to do, they will not let him leave. Yeah. And also
but she has tried to join, and they won't let her join either.
They told her she was unworthy.
Yeah.
And then I thought her dialogue was funny. She's like, unworthy to speak to my own fucking husband.
Pretty much.
Because they make them take a vow of silence in the cult. They can't talk to anybody who's not in the cult.
Right.
So you have to be in the Cool Kids Club. And so obviously we have to go join the cult and figure this out. And the way this quest chain ends is kind of uninteresting, but it's a fun little experiment all the same. So and of course they're in Zellenreach.
Zellenreach, yes.
I have a whole video. It's like a 2-hour long video titled Zellenreach. that I'm gonna have a great time sifting through to find all this stuff.
Yeah.
So we walk over there and we talk to a guy named Tahone, I think.
Yeah, Tahone.
And they're standing next to this. The quest is called Cult of the Stone Face.
Yes.
And what are they standing next to?
A statue of a big stone face.
They're standing next to a big stone face. Yeah, they're not super creative.
No. Think of it as like the stone face statues like that you see from like Easter Island. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, with more rounded features.
Yes, but it's sort of that idea.
It's just a head.
A stone face. Yeah. It is just a head.
A giant head.
Yes, very giant.
And
giant, very head.
Yeah. When I'm talking to Tahone, he's like, I don't remember at what point he says this in his dialogue, but he's like, see the mouth of the stone head turn upward in a smile or something.
Yes.
And so I looked at the stone head and I was like, I guess he's kind of smiling. So we talked to him and he has us kill some stuff to be able to join.
Yeah.
As cults and MMORPGs are wont to do.
Yes.
We got to go defeat some Corsairs. I had already actually killed these guys when I found him. So I just got to like bulldoze through this dialogue.
Oh, nice.
Did you have to go run and get him?
I did. Yeah. And then I ran into a difficulty master quest while I was out there.
And which one was that?
Catch of the Day.
Yeah, I did Catch of the Day too.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
No, it isn't.
I don't know why it's a difficulty master quest.
I don't know either.
Really quick, Catch of the Day. There's this guy standing like 2 feet away from Tahone, not in the cult.
Yeah. Not in the cult. No, just standing nearby.
Yeah, different guy. And he's like, there's a sea monster.
And it killed my crew.
And it killed my whole crew, and it cannot be defeated at sea, but it's in the shallows right now, still eating the rest of my friends.
Yes.
And he's like, could you go deal with it, please? And we head out there. This is a difficulty master quest. So I'm like, I have PTSD from that one in Cliffs of Dojak.
Yes.
That I got to re-experience this episode. I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
But this thing named Hamau Ukayo.
Yeah.
Is level 17. He's a scale, and he's just walking around by himself. I'm like, okay, I'm like level 14 at this point, maybe 13, 14, somewhere around there. I can just roll up on this guy. But I'm thinking Master Quest, there's going to be some pop-up ads for sure.
Yeah.
There are no pop-up ads.
No.
You just walk up to this guy and bulldoze him.
Yeah.
It's absurdly easy.
It really is, and I wonder if it's absurdly easy because we had the cult quest in it, because the wiki says that to be careful because there's a ranger boss with him who's like level 19, and I'm like, I don't remember there being a level 19 ranger boss.
There was definitely no one around for miles.
Yeah, same.
Like my map compass was naked with one red dot in it.
Same. And I was like, why is this a difficulty master quest? So yeah, maybe we got lucky with quest spawns. Maybe. So Hamu Ukayo died very quickly, level 17 ranger.
I thought that was especially comical that not only is he a ranger, he does not appear to have any skills except Troll Unguent.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He did not. He's a ranger melee attacking with Troll Unguent as his only skill. Is this quest like a meme or?
I don't know. Yeah, it was not difficult.
Yeah, Hamau Ukayo, the quote bane of all who sail the seas, comically underpowered.
Yeah.
So
poor Lendu, the fisherman, he was very happy, and when you go turn in the quest, and I think he wants to then go and retrieve the corpses of his friends.
I was gonna say, all his friends still dead. Still not a great outcome for Lendu, the fisherman, but Yeah, I did this at the same time you did, probably right in between these cult quests.
Yeah, yes, I did. I was
Yeah.
like, well, I might as well do that while I'm out here.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not coming back to Zelon Reach if I don't have to, so I'm just gonna do this now.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you turn in the Cult of the Stone Face quest,
Yes.
and join the cults,
Yes.
you've got to kill a group of scale also.
Right.
They run it right up to, it's fine. And then you can join the cults.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're a member, we need to take Miresh, who is the husband of Kihawa, the quest giver.
Yeah.
We just get luck of the draw. We just get paired up together for a mission.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what do we gotta go find in Cliffs of Dojak?
A harpy egg.
Why do we need a harpy egg?
Because the stone faces want it. Tahone wants it. I can't even remember why. I was like, I don't even remember why we need it.
The Harpy Quiche. They want to make Harpy Quiche.
Oh dear God, is that what the reason was? I was just like, fine, whatever, harpy egg, let's go, bro.
Yeah, he's like, we need to make Harpy Quiche as like a transcendent food for getting closer to the stone face.
Oh, so this was like an offering to their stone face gods. Got it.
I'm not sure if they're going to eat it or if the stone face is going to eat it. I'm not sure.
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, we got to make a Harpy Quiche.
Right.
So
I remember you saying that they needed special ingredients, but I could not remember quiche. But yes, you're right. It does say the greatest harpy quiche the world has ever seen. Oh,
yep.
God.
Yeah. And
yep.
And so we head over to Cliffs of Dojak with Miresh, and Miresh is like kind of surly throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
He, like, when we get to Cliffs of Dojak, he's like, "Yeah, you go in front. I don't think this is gonna go well."
Yeah, he doesn't want to deal with the scree harpies, which I don't blame them. They scream, and they're annoying.
Yeah, he kind of complains about the hassle of having to go get this harpy egg.
Yep.
And then once we get it, he kind of agrees to. Well, once we get it, we get to complete the quest, and we turn it in right there to Miresh, don't we?
Miresh, yeah.
Did you see what is listed in the quest reward?
1,000 experience, 100 gold, and a transcendent glory.
Transcendent glory is listed as the quest reward.
Is that the quiche?
It is not an item. It is not a tangible thing. It is just a cult joke.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's very funny. And then he immediately has a follow-up quest for us there in the middle of the cliffs, and he's like, "Okay, I quit the cult. Goodbye."
Yeah.
And we have to break the bad news to Tahone, though.
Yes, he's basically like, I'm gonna go back to my wife because I can't be bothered with all of this crap anymore.
And I guess we have to tell Tahone because, like, cults have a history of, like, coming and finding you if you try to leave, right?
Yes.
So we have to go back and tell Tahone the bad news, and unsurprisingly, he's not happy about it.
No, he's not happy about it, and all his cult members, when you approach and tell him, all the cult members become hostile, and so you've got to take all of them out.
And he goes hostile immediately.
He does, yes.
And so I'm just sitting there reading his dialogue while my party is having a fight with his, his people.
I was like, I have to read this dialogue. I've got to talk about it on the show.
I was like, what are these guys, level 10? Yeah, we'll be fine. I'm just going to read the dialogue and take notes.
Yeah.
And we wipe this cult out. There's like maybe 7 people here. It's not exactly taking off as a cult operation.
No.
And that's the end of the Stoneface quest. There's no more Stoneface cult.
No, we've taken them out. We were not crushed between teeth of granite as Tahone thought we would be. So yeah.
Here's the thing. All they're doing, like, I get that, like, they wouldn't let this guy leave, and that's bad. But all they're really doing is making Harpy Quiche and, like, enjoying their Stoneface. They haven't really done anything wrong that we know of.
Yeah, not that we know of, no.
Besides, like, I guess they're kind of imprisoning people by not letting them leave.
Yeah. Okay. And Miresh does get to the point that he comes to the conclusion that they're full of crap.
Okay, I can get behind butchering these cultists then. Sure. So yeah, that's the end of that quest chain. Just a funny little cult quest chain. And then there was the second larger quest chain. Even though a lot of these quests are pretty quick, The Scarab Plague quest chain.
But
Which
before we get to the Scarab Plague, did you run into in the village out in Zalon Reach? Did you run into a two? I guess peacekeepers is I think they're Sun Spears maybe, and they're having a disagreement on the way to deal with unsavory characters.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I ran across a quest. It's you've got two Sun Spears. One is called Kohanu, and the other one is called Shaudok. And Shaudok is kind of a loose cannon, and he likes to beat people up in order to make them do what they're supposed to do, rather than extort the common man. And Kohanu's like, bro, you cannot do this. You've got to like find peaceful ways to deal with it. We've got a reputation as Sun Spears to uphold.
Like a Masella Jedder kind of juxtaposition.
Kind of, yeah. And so once their dialogue is over, because they have a disagreement about a merchant who has bought out. He's a grain merchant, and he's bought out essentially the rest of the grain merchants in the area, so now he is like manipulating the market.
That must be why the perplexing plague guy didn't get his grain shipment.
Maybe, yeah. That could be it.
Small world.
So once their dialogue finishes, you have an option. You can talk to both of them, and they each have a quest, but it's a related quest. Once you pick one, you do that quest. So you either, if you pick Kohanu's quest, you go and find a peaceful solution, and Shaudok comes with you. If you pick Shaudok's quest, which is called a loose cannon, you go and deal with the merchant, but you kick his ass, basically.
Which did you pick?
I picked the peaceful solution because I'm a paragon. So
that makes sense.
Yes. So I'm role playing a little bit here, and you go out there and you still intimidate the merchant, but you don't take him out. Like Shaudok is there, and he's like, "No, really, I'm not here to kick your ass. I am here to kind of talk some sense into you." And the merchant, Deshawn, he doesn't believe you, and so he's got bodyguards. He's just like, take him out. And so you basically kick his bodyguard's ass, and then Deshawn is like, okay, after he craps his pants.
Do they actually die?
No, they don't die, but they get their butts handed to them because you beat them up. And so then he agrees to lower his prices by like 20%, and Shaudok says like, no, how about 50%? And then Deshawn agrees, and you go and turn the quest in, and Kawan was like, you had to go and beat up the guards? Fine. You got the result that we needed. Thanks.
Hey, you didn't kill anybody.
No.
I did way worse to those cultists.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything half as bad. I would have gone with the beat 'em up route as my character.
Yeah. So there you go.
Zelen Reach, the gift that keeps on giving. How many quests have we found there?
I don't. Yeah, it's a lot.
Like over 10, I feel like.
I want to say, yeah.
Because I found that quest, the magic compass one that you did a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did it because I wanted the XP. I still didn't find that quest. Where you went and killed the water djinn. I still didn't find that one. And then here's another one that I still didn't find. Crazy.
Yeah.
Before we get into... I think you're right, actually. Before we get into the Scarab Plague quest, I'll go over the extra quest that I did out of Zelen Reach.
Okay. Sure.
Because there is a follow-up to the Mime quest.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Mime follow-up. Mime 2. Electric Boogaloo. No. Electric Moa Kuval, because that's what the quest is called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, MOA apostrophe VU apostrophe KAAL. Moa Kuval.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've done the Mime quest, and you go back to that village, because something took me back there.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go. I think Clerk Arlon took me back
there.
there.
Yeah, one of Clerk Arlon. Yeah.
When we talk about Jotaro, we'll talk about him. But I noticed that there's a guy named Dangrid, which is an unfortunate name, standing next to the village elder. And he has an exclamation mark now. So I talked to him, and he's like, "Hey, I saw some scale performing a ritual, and it got real weird. And this happened over in the Isner Isles." So immediately I'm like, "Wait, scale?" I don't think up to this point scale have been deemed sentient by like the game logic or the
Right.
lore.
Right.
But now we're hearing that scale are not only sentient, they have religion.
Okay.
And ritual.
Okay.
And so the scale are performing this ancient evil ritual to summon an ancient evil entity. It's not specified whether he's a demon or what. Named Moa Vukal. Did I say Moa Kuval before? It's Moa Vukal.
Okay.
And
is it a Moa?
It's, you know what, that would be a good joke. It is not a Moa.
Oh, damn.
And then he's like, "You guys should ask Elder Balin about it." Elder Balin is the guy who's the head of that village. He's the guy that gave me the mime quest.
Right.
So I go over and I talk to Elder Balin, and he's just like, "Yeah, everything Dangrid said." He doesn't give me any new information. He's just like, "Yes, that's correct."
Okay.
He charges me with going and stopping the scale. And he's like, "Go investigate." So I'm like, "Well, I'm fucking Sunspear. I'd better go." So I head over to Isner Isles, and this is the first quest I did in Isner Isles, actually.
Okay.
And I was excited about the 8-player party as well. And I also ran into, did you in Isner Isles run into a collector named, I didn't copy his name down. He's the other collector from the Sayal thing with the love potion.
The love potion guy. Yeah. No, I didn't run into him. What does he have to say for himself?
He's simping hard for Sayal also. He's the other brother. And he wants to bring her headache powder that is made of insect appendages. So all three of them are trying to collect things that will cure her headaches, basically. Yeah. So each guy thinks that if he cures her headaches, he will win.
Win her love. Right.
When probably the right headache cure recipe is the one she's collecting for. So...
Yeah.
But I did trade him some insect appendages for a scythe he had because it was an upgrade for Maloney.
Oh, nice.
So maybe he'll win because he can now bring her the headache powder. I did not think to go talk to her after, but I doubt there is an update.
No, I have a feeling that she just has her own continued dialogue.
More than likely, since she's a collector also.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like kind of a side tangent within a side tangent because this is like the collector corner, which is becoming a segment on the show very rapidly.
It's like the cool boss names.
Yeah, there's another collector in Isner Isles named Hoanjo, who is the brother of the collector in the Astralarium. Yeah, the girl in the Astralarium wants scale teeth to craft a weapon for Hoanjo. When you meet Hoanjo, he's like, "Dude, my sister made me this dope weapon. Can you bring me some scale claws so I can make her some armor in return?"
Nice.
I did not have scale claws, so I did not get to facilitate that sibling gift exchange. But interesting.
Yeah.
And I was proud of myself because I remembered her dialogue and I put it together without having to check the wiki.
Oh, nice. Very good.
And right across the street from Hoanjo is a circle of like 12 scale, and they're all summoning Moa Vukal, who is a level 15 necromancer in the middle. It's an easy fight. It's not scary.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And that is a quest that chains into the quest Assault on Beckner Harbor.
Oh, which you told me about, and you were not happy.
Yeah, so I was having a grand old time playing through this content until I hit the brick wall that is this quest. Because this is a master difficulty quest.
Mm-hmm.
And basically after you kill Moa Vukal, the quest log points you towards Elder Jurdu in Beckner Harbor, because you got to go warn him about like the scale being up to no good. And he basically... I know. The scale are getting mischievous out here.
Right, yeah.
And he's basically like, "Yeah, well, now you've pissed them off, and they're coming here."
No.
Yeah, and it's a real, when I say it is a Mines of Moria situation, I am not exaggerating.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we have to defend the village, and it spawns me in to like a mission with like a countdown. It's like mission start in 50 seconds. And there's maybe like 6 guys that are going to help me and my party with this defense. It is
I hope that they don't die.
Well, it is the same structure as the quest in Cliffs of Dojok, where that sculptor leaves and you got to defend his territory.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, hordes of scale show up, except this time they're
Mhm.
all level 13 and 14.
Mhm.
And the first couple waves are pretty easy, deceptively so, because they're just
Right.
like the warrior version.
Uh-huh.
So they're very easy to deal with and don't do a lot of damage.
Mhm.
Then the end is where I hit the wall,
Oh
because
no.
like 3 full mobs of level 14 frigid scales, the
I
elementalists.
hate those guys. Yes.
They're where all the difficulty is on these scale
Mhm.
horde quests, which is weirdly a quest genre within Guild Wars Nightfall. That's where all the difficulty is. I tried this quest like 3 or 4 times, and I died in the
Mhm.
same exact spot every time. I tried
Mm.
funneling them through the gateway and hitting them right when they were grouped up in the gate. I tried going out and fighting them. I tried luring them to the village helpers. I'm too low level for the quest. I was like level 14 trying to do this, I think.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm level 15 now, so I might try it again next episode.
Uh-huh.
Just to conclude the mime saga, because you got to conclude the mime saga.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah, I could not do this quest, and finally I messaged Miko and I was like, "Did you do this quest?" And she was like, "No," and I was like, "Thank God," because I can't.
Apparently, this is like like another quest chain of difficulty master quests.
So this is not the end of the
No.
difficulty master chain. Good lord.
There's like the follow up to it is also a difficulty master, and then there's one more, and that one looks like just a normal quest.
I think I'm gonna be hating my life next episode when I try
know,
to
but
do
you
these.
now I feel like you have to like complete it.
Oh, when you put your foot into the mime barrel,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
have
you
to
kinda
climb
have to
all the
go.
way inside.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta, yes.
I opened this door and I have to walk through it.
Yep.
So yeah, that quest is uncompleted in my quest log right now. Beckner Harbor, as of this moment, is well and truly fucked.
The scaler coming for it.
Yeah. And that was kind of, that wasn't the last thing we did in Zelon Raid. Should we talk about Jotaro or the Scarab Plague first?
I feel like we should talk about Jotaro.
Yeah, the Scarab Plague is kind of a good. Did you do
Yeah.
the Scarab Plague first or last in your playthrough?
I did it. I think I did it second. I think I did Puba's quests first.
The Perplexing Plague is the first quest I went and grabbed, and then I did it dead last in my playthrough order. When you're going through the Isner Isles, you probably noticed the same as me there, because I don't think any of the quests actually take you to this location, but you see there's a portal and you're like, I should go in there.
Yeah.
And it's to a place called Kodlanu Hamlet.
Yes. And I knew that I wanted to do this chain, so I was like, I need to go to Kodlanu Hamlet. I'm gonna go in there.
I kind of remembered this chain. I didn't remember it at all, actually, until I saw Jotaro standing there, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember hearing about this. Yeah, Jotaro Musagi is here in Kodlanu Hamlet. He's the guy that was the captured son back on Shinjay Island.
Did you read his dialogue before taking the quest?
I did, but I didn't write it down. What does he say?
So he gives you a really kind of a shady explanation as to why he's in Alona.
He's a bizarre guy.
You keep asking him, like, what are you doing here? What brings you to Istan? And he's like, well, during my youth, I ran away and I became a pirate.
Oh, I read through this after the quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gives you the most long-winded possible version of everything that took place with him in factions.
Yeah. And you're like, no, really. So what brought you here? And then I went over here. Then I got bored. Apparently he joined the Xeno squad, which you got to hang out with.
Yeah, because that's when you find him. That's where you find him in factions, is at the Leviathan Pits, where the Xeno Squad quest is.
Yeah, and then he tells you about how he went and was hanging out with the Kurziks for a while, then he got bored, and then he was out in the Jade Quarry, and then finally he's got a slab of jadeite, which he's trying to get to Vabi.
It's got a chicken in it.
Right, or something.
He says there's creatures encased in it. So they've got a buyer lined up, and
In Bobby.
in
Yeah.
Vabi, and he was sailing there, and then they got shipwrecked by corsairs.
Right.
And now he's here.
And yeah, and then he ran away before the wreck got pillaged. And then he says that the people have given him food and shelter. And I swear I thought he was going to tell you to go and find his jadeite so that he can go to Vabi to sell it, essentially.
But instead, he wants us to get him papers.
Diplomatic papers.
Yes. Which is interesting because I like when you come over from prophecies, I guess you like fight a battle when you come over from prophecies, and Cormier's like, he's cool. So that's probably why your character doesn't need to do this. But yeah, apparently Istan, very strict on travel enforcement.
Yes.
And we got to go talk to a guy named Clerk Arlen to get him some papers. And let me just preface this by saying at the top, I hate Clerk Arlen.
But why?
Well, you immediately talk to him to get this quest, which is called One Good Turn Deserves Another. And then he basically goes, yeah, you're going to have to do a whole bunch of my job for me in order for me to get you these papers.
Yeah, he's like, look at all of the work I have to do. I've got all these people just coming after me to do stuff for them. No, I can't help your friend.
Yep, so we got to go talk. There's basically, and we noted this in the last few episodes, that there's a bunch of Cornin and Vabian delegations that have arrived, like, diplomatically recently.
And apparently they are, like, ruining Clerk Arlon's life.
Yep, there's arrangements to be made. Things must be done. People must be talked to. I think there's 3 people we got to talk to.
Yeah.
And the first one is Captain Gadur, another unfortunate name. And I actually remembered this guy because I found this guy outside Sunspear Sanctuary, and he had no exclamation mark, and I was like, that guy matters.
Right.
And now, like 3 episodes later, it clunked into place. So I ported over, and I was able to find him that way. And I think he, what is he doing? He's making arrangements for what?
For the diplomats of Corna and Vabi.
Right, probably security, something like that.
Yeah.
He does. So
proposed Sunspear duties.
Yeah, because Arlen has a very long-winded, chunk of dialogue, and he's like outlining specifically what we need to talk to each person about. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, all right, go talk to these 3 people. Got it. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
And then we got to go to Elder Balin, who's in Zellenreach, so I got to run all the way back there.
Yeah. And and Elder Balin, they're planning a banquet, and they need a lot of fresh game, so they're putting in the request to the villagers that Elder Balin is in charge of, which makes him happy.
Yes.
So he's helping out the economy, the local economy.
Thank God, because they've got criminal grain merchants that Miko's out here dealing with.
Right.
Probably part of the problem. And then we got to go talk to Stonecutter Ged. Just a whole bunch of unfortunately named individuals take center stage in this quest. Because there is a representative from the wilderness of Badza, which is apparently a place in Vabi. And he wants to talk stone cutting with Ged.
Yeah. He want to know about their tools.
Yeah, he wants to talk chisels with Ged.
Right.
So and I remembered this guy too. I was like, I remember that guy because he's standing where all the quest markers are in the quarry in Cliffs of Dojak, but he's not a part of any quests.
No.
So yeah, you got to go let him know. And he's like, he says, quote, I'm intrigued by this Vabian who does not shrink away from physical labor.
Right. Yeah. I thought that they all just lie around and living in luxury and counting their money.
Yeah, because Vabians have a reputation for being fat, lazy, and rich.
Yep.
Which is embodied by Prince Baka the Magnificent, who I'm still working on getting a Drake kebab for. I am level 15, and I've never received a Drake flesh drop.
I got one this playthrough out in the Isner Isles.
Were you able to get that food item for Baka's feast?
Yes. But you know what hasn't dropped for me?
An iboga petal.
A second iboga petal, and
Yep.
I'm literally murderifying all of the iboga that I find.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That should
No
be
iboga
easier to
petal.
get than the Drake flesh, I think. The Drake
Yes.
flesh is killing me.
I am stunned that I have, in all of this playthroughs so far, I've gotten one iboga petal. Just one.
Yeah, that's nuts. I got a lot of scale fins this playthrough,
Yes.
so I was able to get the suit finally.
Nice.
But yeah, Baka is gonna have to wait. Once we talk to all those representatives for Clerk Arlen, we come back to him. He's in Kamadan, by the way. He's standing next to the portal to the consulate. He gives us Jatora's papers, and then he's like, boy, do I have a whole bunch more shit for you to do.
Yes. He really is trying to like pawn these Vabian nobles off on us. He's like, go be a tour guide. Get them out of my hair.
Yeah, and he says there's 3 Vabian nobles, and I was like, this is going to be those 3 Vabians that are up at the docks at the top of Zelen Reach. I'm going to have to run all the way out there. Thankfully, that is not the case.
They're a little closer to the portal.
Yeah, they're right outside the portal, and they just want to jog over to, like, the portal to Cliffs of Dojak.
Yes. And they will literally run ahead of you.
They will.
I thought that I would have to, like, protect them, but no. They will just jog through Corsairs like it's nothing.
Can you just let the quest go, and once they get to the marker, it's done?
I mean, you probably could, but no, they do actually stop running if they get too far ahead.
They make you come with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gotcha.
but they will just like keep going along.
Yeah, I think the one with a name is named Emra.
Yes, Emra. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. You only have to kill a few groups. It's pretty easy. Once you let Clerk Arlen know that you did it, he's like, cool, they want to go to another place. And this is where I drew the line and said, not doing that. But you did do it.
I did. The quest is called To Ask for More, and these fuckers want to go to Latenda Bog. And I was like, ooh, Latenda Bog. I liked this area. I want to go there.
Have you ever vanquished Latenda Bog?
I think I have, and I probably wanted to, hate myself for doing that.
Yeah, you're not going to like it so much anymore after vanquishing it. It is one of few zones in the game that has a 500 plus enemy count for vanquishing.
Well, let's just say that I went and I took the hit and I went out to Latenda Bog. I unlocked Black Tide Den as a outpost, so yay.
Oh wow. You really went out there.
Yeah, I had to get out to Latenda Bog, and I couldn't find an entrance that wasn't going through Black Tide Den.
Okay. So
if there is one, you can tell me about it. But
I did not set foot anywhere near it. I think I accepted this quest and decided not to do it. So I'll probably do it next episode. How did the escorting of the nobles go through Latenda Bog?
This time they don't run ahead. This time they stick with you and will just wait for you to kill shit, and then they'll follow you.
Yeah, Latenda Bog is like a higher level zone for Istan. It's like one of the highest level zones Istan has to offer. Did you struggle at all?
No, I mean, you gotta kill mandragores and more mandragores.
Did you find any ring call monitors out there?
I don't think I found them in Latenda Bog. I found them out.
I found it in Zelen Reach.
Zelen Reach, yeah.
The Yellowstone of Istan. Yeah. What is a ring call monitor? This is a new enemy that we haven't encountered before. It's just kind of bizarre.
Yeah, hang on, I gotta pull up their model because,
I had it pulled up on the wiki, and then we started deep diving down Castellan Pooba, and now I don't have it pulled up anymore.
Oh, they look like, oh gosh, what are they?
They have a cobra hood.
They have a cobra hood and then like spiky feet. It's they're like a cross between a cobra and a griffin. What is this?
Yeah, this thing looks insane. It like doesn't have eyes. I'm not seeing eyes.
I think they're the same. The eyes are the same color as its face.
Interesting, camouflaged. And they've got like razors on their hands, kind of like roller beetles. I don't think we've talked about roller beetles on the show yet.
No.
Beetles are coming in later in Nightfall, I think.
Later, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're like reptilian. Do they qualify as a it says type beast, so I don't think they qualify as a dinosaur. Dinosaurs are coming in Eye of the North, everybody.
Yeah.
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 Just a wacky. It's kind of like a raptor.
Mm-hmm. But with a cobra hood.
And with bizarre. A cobra hood, a real long neck. Yeah.
You're gonna have to put one up on the screen for people.
I'll absolutely have to put it up on the screen because it's nightmare fuel, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's super super cursed looking. The trivia section on the wiki says a Rinkal's cobra is a type of snake closely related to the spitting cobra, so that's why they put the cobra hood on there.
Okay.
Because the name is inspired by a type
and
of
they're monk.
They are.
They've got monk skills.
Yeah, I only found one, just one single one.
I found like a group of them, and it had a boss.
Oh, really? I don't think I found the boss group. That, or I was like deeply not paying attention. Which is also possible.
Zelon Reach was probably just mind-numbing you.
Yeah, Zelon Reach, it was like taking my brain and putting it in a frying pan. Yeah, I deeply never want to go back there, but I have a feeling we're going to be going back there.
Oh yeah, we will, I'm sure.
I'm sure Castellan Puba is going to send us back there.
Yeah. But Latenda Bog is, if you've never been to Latenda Bog, it's sort of like a maze. That's kind of how I always remember it.
Yes.
And it's, if you don't have it open, like unfogged, following the path can be a little bit difficult. So I was paying attention to the minimap, trying to find the path to the quest markers. And you have to go deep into the Latenda Bog in order for them to finally finish the quest and give you your reward. And then Nobleman Emra and his Vabian homies are happy, and you don't have to do anything more for them.
Nice. Yeah, I'll probably do that. How much XP do you get for it?
1,500.
Yeah, I did a few 1,500 quests. The pace of the leveling is very nice in Nightfall. I'm finding just when I start to like be fiending for a new level, I usually get it. Very nicely paced out leveling. If you're skipping side questing, you're probably gonna be under leveled, if anything. So yeah, good leveling experience with if you're keeping up with side quests, that is.
Yeah.
And then we do take those papers from Arlon back to Jotaro, and that will enable him to wander around Istan freely.
Yep.
I don't know if he pops up again. Maybe. Keep an eye out for him.
I would hope so. We'll keep an eye out for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were there any other... I think we covered anything. In Kodlano Hamlet, there's a quest called The Lone Raider and a quest called Trade Relations that you get from the village elder. Neither of us did these.
No, I think we were saving them for later.
Yeah, we kind of ran out of time, and...
they take us to a new area.
And I think one of them is its own chain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I saw that, and I was like, I can't with any more chains. I'm tired.
Yeah, I kind of need to... At this point, I was saving the Scarab Plague chain for last, and at this point, I was like, I can't. I can't. I was cranky from the assault on Beckner Harbor. Like, it was...
Right.
Yeah, I went to a dark place while finishing up these quests.
Right.
So this is the last set of quests I did, is the Scarab Plague quests. I wanted to do this quest chain for this episode because it like dives into the history of Istan and Foreigner, which is interesting. And the Scarab Plague also kind of pops up again as a plot device in Guild Wars 2, which is fun.
Yeah.
So the first quest is called A Perplexing Plague, and you get it from Scholar Chago in Astralarium.
Yes.
And what does he need from us?
He wants us to go in and investigate some essentially like bones. He wants you to investigate and find if there's any like cocoons or eggs. He wants evidence of the Scarab Plague that might be left on essentially corpses of people or animals that may have been infected.
Yeah, he says he's a scarab plague researcher, which was apparently a pandemic that like wiped out the entire. He says the entire population of Istan, 600 years ago. He probably more means nearly the entire population of Istan, because obviously we still have people around.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to find out what the plague was and how to prevent it from happening again.
Right.
He says that Foreigner, the first city where we were at in Jockener Diggings, may have some insights, and he wants us to go look around. And did you see the quest accept dialogue?
Oh boy, I love plagues.
Yeah, oh boy, I love plagues.
Yeah.
Which is great. And you go there and you find a bunch of bones. You find the bones have like pitting on them, which the dialogue says indicates growths against the bone.
Yeah.
And he says that they're twisted up in the skeleton is twisted in the fetal position, indicating
Like
they
if
were
it was
in agony.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we find the remains of some small eggs and or cocoons. We find an old journal that tells of a city struck by plague suddenly and without warning. This is all in Foreigner, by the way. We go over there to look for this stuff. We find another journal that tells of like people burning entire buildings down to try and cleanse the plague. In addition to bugs erupting out of people's boils.
Yeah, that's kind of yuck.
Pretty disgusting. Yeah. Not a fun plague to have. You can kind of do the math yourself. Like the growths against the bone are the bugs maturing under the skin, right?
Right.
And then the final note we find is from a man named Yaminde. And it says, it basically like begins the story of this guy Yaminde writing to a friend whose family he is like watching over while the friend is away. And he thinks the plague is spreading through the food and water. And he's like, I'm going to try and get your family out of the city. And you should follow us when you get this note. Spoiler alert, I don't think this guy ever got these notes.
No, I probably not. And where is he going to take his wife and son?
To Kamadan, which is a, quote, small village at the time.
Yes, a small village.
Yeah.
But he also says that I will bring your wife and son with me to the old farm where we grew up in
Zellenrage.
Yeah,
he says that he's taking him to Kamadan later, I think. I think in this note he says he's going to the farm in Zellenrage, which we will be visiting, following up on that. So yeah, back to Zellenrage. And we take this information back to Chago, and he's like, cool, that confirms everything that I thought. And then he wants us to go back to Foreigner. There's a lot of going back to Foreigner.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you only have to go twice. I think after this we go other places. But he wants us to go back and gather insect spores from the insects there. So we got to go kill 10 bugs. And
yeah, which is fascinating because essentially then it seems like the spores are still infected with
right,
this?
like shouldn't we have scarab plague?
I know, seriously, yeah.
Like we're running out there like slamming our way through bugs, probably popping them, right? Getting entrails all over us. Yeah, no, it's bad. But luckily each bug drops a guaranteed spore, so you only have to kill the 10 necessary. You don't have to like farm these.
No.
For quests, I think Guild Wars is pretty good about that. They don't usually make you farm RNG for quests. So we kill 10 bugs there. You just kind of run around. You'll find them. And then we bring those spores back. And what does Chago need now?
So now he wants you to go to... What does he want you to do? He wants you to go and... What? No, I'm. Oh yeah, he wants you to go and find a sack of grain, because he has a theory that the plague was indeed spreading through the food chain and that it was coming through the grain.
Yeah, so he's like, I ordered a sack of grain on Temu, and it's not here yet. And he's like, it's from a guy named Faneng in Isner Isles, and could you go get it for me? I'm like, why does it have to be that sack of grain? Surely fucking grain is everywhere. Go get a sack of grain from like the guy over there, right? Who probably has plenty.
He could be worse. He could have sent us back to Zalon Reach to get the grain there, but he sends us to the Isner Isles.
He does send us to the Isner Isles. Yeah, right back to that village with healer
Zenwa.
Yeah. I'm just like, well, you couldn't get the grain, but then you did that quest with that guy who was grain monopolizing, and I'm like, maybe he really couldn't get that grain.
Maybe he couldn't, yeah.
So yeah, kind of some. I don't know if those quests are. I don't know if you're supposed to make that connection, but ArenaNet. I'm out here making connections, so
yeah.
We'll give a credit to the writing team for that one.
Yes.
And you talk to Feneng, and of course he needs you to do something before you can get the grain.
Yeah, he needs you to protect him and his villagers from corsairs that are coming in to essentially harass and try to kill them.
Yeah.
And steal their stuff.
Yeah, they come running in and you just kind of... They're corsairs. You just kill them. It's the only thing you do with corsairs.
Yeah.
And then he gives you the grain, and you can bring... You come back to Che, you're like, here is your specific sack of grain. This is the one, I promise. I didn't just go and get this from the Kamadan market. And then he lets you know that some of the local children have stolen the spore samples.
Yeah.
And I have in my notes at this point, I am so over this.
Yeah, the local kids, they stole... 3 of the local kids stole essentially 3 spores. So, not a good thing. And,
they could get scarab plague.
They could get scarab plague. They could. Because Chago's over here trying to do experiments with the grain that he's gotten and the spores that we've given him. I guess he's going to try to grow some scarabs. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but whatever.
He says he's experimenting. He never specifies what kind of experimenting. He's just experimenting.
I'm starting to connect the dots here.
Yeah.
And so the kids snuck up on him, stole the spores off of his work table, and he needs us to go get him back. And where do we have to go get him?
Zalon Reach, baby.
Zalon Reach, yes. So we got 3 kids, and as soon as you zone in and get close to them, I think they're close to the portal entrance or exit from Astralarium. So they're right there. And they take off running.
Yeah,
through the little horde of corsairs that are there.
Yeah, they're
2 of them go one way and 1 goes the other way.
Yeah, and they're playing with it like they're in a Silly Putty commercial from the 90s. Yes. They're like, "Ew, gross," right?
Yeah.
And then you roll up and they're like, "Isn't that guy? Run!"
Yeah.
So then they split, and I'm just standing there like, fuck me. You ever see the picture of Ben Affleck smoking that cigarette outside wherever he's shooting? Yeah, that was me when these kids ran off.
Yeah.
And I I ran after the one that went off solo because she was kind of not as far away. And I got her. And then I had to go. Good. Yeah, I had to go on the wiki to figure out how to get the rest of them because I was like, they're gone. I don't know what to do.
I took after the 2 that went off together, not realizing that the other kid had gone off in the other direction, and I was like, shit, now what I'm going to do? Am I going to have to go and find which direction she went in and see if I can catch her? But the wiki's like, nah, don't worry about it. Just go to the exit by Cliffs of Dojak, and the kids will eventually show up.
This is good design. So the game doesn't tell you to do this, which is not good design. But simply that this exists is good design.
Right.
They just need to take it one step further and put a dialogue tree in or something that's like, hey, meet up at the portal or whatever. Yeah. Because you do have to go on the wiki to figure that out.
So since you caught the kid who went in solo in that one direction, how long did you have to wait for the other 2 to show up?
I actually ran into them on my way there. I didn't have to wait for them to show up at the portal.
Let me tell you. I went and caught the first 2 kids, and I had to go and find that solo kid. And I went to Cliffs of Dojak portal, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and finally the bitch shows up. But I must have been out there for, I don't know, a good 10, maybe 15 minutes. You'll see footage of me just kind of aimlessly running around, scanning my camera, trying to find this kid, and I'm like, where are you?
And you're sitting there... Sitting there the whole time like, am I going to have to rezone and do this again?
Yes, yes, exactly. And so finally the kid shows up and I was like, thank God, because I didn't want to be doing this quest anymore.
Yeah, I got the first one, and then I was like running after the second two, and they got away because like I was using the sprint skill to like keep up with them, but then my party started dying, and I was like, if I run by myself, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
So I had to break off.
My
break off
party
pursuit.
died, and then I died, and then I was like, great, now I've got death penalty on top of it. These kids can just suck it. Go and get your little scarab selves.
Yeah, no, I was in a very bad mood from failing the Assault on Beckner Harbor quest. So, like, when this quest took place, I was very over it for the evening.
Right.
So, thankfully, as I was fighting my way over there, the kids kind of wandered past me, and I was able to grab it.
Okay.
But yeah, the arena probably should have shortened the scenic route timer on...
The scenic route timer needed to be shortened, yes, for sure.
Yeah, on when they show up at the gate. So once we get the spores, thank the Lord, we can take the mech to Chago, and then he's got one final quest for us, which is called the Mysterious
Missive. Yes.
He's like, hey, that one journal you found, I recognize this guy, Yaminde. He's the guy he's like the guy that does the scarab research. He knows things, or knew. Yeah. He's 600 years ago, so he's long dead.
Right.
But he wants us to go to the area mentioned in the note, which was the farm at Zillen Reach. Which is where we find out that the family went to Camadan.
Right, yes, that is correct.
Now, did you find the box first, or did you find the guy first?
I found the box first.
I did as well, yeah.
I saw that the farmer was on the other side, and I was like, but there's a chest there. So I went to the chest first.
So I went straight from the Astralarium portal, which takes you from south going north to get to this farm. And I'm arriving from behind the little building, so that the farmer is standing on the other side of. I don't even know this guy exists. I just find the chest, and I'm like, bingo, let's go. And so, the note that you find in the chest indicates that Yaminde took this friend that he's writing to's family to Camadan, which was at that point a small village. He says the source of the plague was the grain that was harvested, hence the grain that was needed for the experiment. He says the family will head for the mainland after they get to Camadan, and he will leave a buried message near Camadan. Did you find anything funny about what the farmer said?
Farmer was like, I can't... There's this weird chest back there, and I can never, open it, but maybe you'll have better luck.
I think we kicked it one time and it opened.
Yeah, and it just opened. It's like, okay, thanks, farmer.
Yeah, every time you encounter one of these missives for this quest, it's written like a novel. It's like you kick the chest lightly and it crumbles open. Yeah, it's written like a choose your own adventure. The farmer also, he gives an oddly specific estimate of how old he thinks the chest is. We know,
at least 600 years old.
Because we know this, we the character know from talking to Charon or whatever his name is, Chago.
Chago.
That the scarab plague happened 600 years ago. The farmer is like, that thing's got to be at least 600 years old, right?
Right.
Just a very oddly specific figure to throw out for how old that chest might be.
Yes. And in there, Yaminde leaves a little map indicating a location near the entrance to Camadan on the plains of Jaren, so that you then have to go out there to the plains of Jaren.
Yeah, and it does say near the gate to Camadan, so that tells you the player, okay, I can just zone out and find this.
Yes.
And it's pretty close to the portal. And it is buried in the most conspicuous single mound of dirt that I've ever seen.
Literally called Mound of Dirt. This
mound of dirt has the same energy as in the Metal Gear Solid games when you hide in a cardboard box in plain sight.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, it stands out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm flabbergasted no one has investigated this up to this point.
I know.
But we can dig through that, and not only does it have the conclusion of the story of what happened with the family, they bartered passage with Corsairs to the mainland, aka Korna. Yeah. He also is like, here's all my research on the scarab plague.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jackpot, ace in the hole.
Ace in the hole, yes. He's like, so even if you can't find me, I hope you can use your connections to make the research, to make sure the research will be put to good use.
And I'm like, don't mind if I do. I know just the guy.
Yeah.
So we take it back to Chago,
who's ecstatic that you found this journal with all of this research.
Yeah, he says it will help ensure that the scarab plague never repeats.
Mm-hmm.
And so we save
Famous
the day.
Last words.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. And we save the day from a plague that wasn't actually occurring anyway.
Right, even though the bugs in Far North are apparently still carrying around scarab spores.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't be going there.
No.
You know, when we went to the Joke in Your Diggings, they implied that it was like a sealed area, like no one could go there.
Yeah.
Apparently,
now we know why.
Fuckface from the village could go in there to hide his inheritance, though.
Right? Yeah, how did he get in?
Bill Gates over here was able to buy his way in.
Maybe that was where Cormier and Rojas were at when Rojas got mad at Cormier for putting his crew in danger.
You think Cormier took like an under the table payment from Wananwe
or
whatever his name was?
She looks tired, and maybe she's been doing some shady stuff. I'm just saying.
Maybe she's got something weighing on her conscience.
Maybe.
Yeah, so you never know. Theories about side quests
and stuff.
Lore in Nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything we didn't talk about? I think that's everything that I did.
I think that's everything I did. Yes.
Wow, that was a doozy. That was a doozy of an hour and 45 minutes of side quest talk. Yeah, I probably played for like 5 hours doing all this.
Yeah, I probably played for about 4-ish, or maybe 5 hours. I don't know. I've got a lot of footage.
Yeah, it was a doozy of an episode. So I hope everybody enjoyed the side quest chit chat. Just some general Guild Wars side quest fun.
Yeah, and it gives more flavor as to some of the crazy. It's also like there's crazy stuff happening. Yeah, like the Vabians and the Cornins, they're out there acting like they're just tourists in this area of Alona that's clearly seeing some weird stuff going on, but they're out there like, ooh, I want to see all of the interesting things that these primitives here on Istan have to offer. And
there's just a crap ton of world building in doing all these side quests. The content density in Nightfall is very impressive. The world building is very impressive. It's just kind of on a tier above the Prophecies and Factions. I feel like the games get like incrementally better with this sort of thing as they go along.
Which is what you would want out of a game studio, and I think that is what has happened here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Prophecies is definitely a little rough, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
Factions is rushed, but still does better with the world building and quest writing than Prophecies. Then Nightfall, they've really got their shit together with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, despite the fact that I was very over this by the end of the play session, this was mostly very good content. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah, it was. It's just we played for a long time, so we were a little tired.
Yeah, exactly. So next episode, we're going to be picking primary quests back up. I think Black Tide Den is the next mission. Don't quote me on that, but we'll do whatever the next mission is. We'll primary quest our way there. And I think that's what you'll be able to look forward to from us next episode. Until then, guys, Miko, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Inky Sticks on various social media platforms.
Yes, go find that, guys. Follow. You can help me out by just following the Tyria Now channel on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Blue Sky, Twitter. Go ahead and follow us there. If you haven't watched all the podcast episodes, I imagine if you made it to the end of this one, you probably like them. So you should watch all of them. And guys, word of mouth is kind of the only way we get around. We don't pay for advertising anywhere, or anything like that. We don't constantly repost our stuff obnoxiously on other platforms. If you like us, tell a friend about it. Share us on your social media. If you think you are friends with people who might like the show, because that really helps us out more than anything else. So give us a share, give us a like, tell a friend, something like that. And we will see everybody for episode 31 in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.